Welcome back to another No Sugar, No Cream podcast. I am here with, as always, with Tim Wolf, and we have another lovely podcast for you. It is episode 102.
102.
We're in the triple. We're deep. We're deep in the triple. Okay, not deep, but we're a couple into the triple digits. Feeling good. Feeling really good. Uh, uh, of course, I feeling good, but I mean, right off the bat, we did get some bad news today that Dolly Parton passed away. Very sad, and of course, we're here in Nashville, so um, I'm guessing there are going to be a little bit some things going on celebrating her and everything that she's done. She's a very active one. Passed away at the age of 80. Had quite a few hits, and then of course one of my favorite places was Dixie Stampede. I love Dixie Stampede. I don't know if I don't think that was I think a couple locations, but there was one in Branson. Of course, my family loved going to Branson, but went there a few times. And unique. It's like it's a food and a show, but and you get like a whole little rotisserie chicken to yourself and everything that meal. But the thing I remember most is this insane soup. It was like a loaded potato or something. Um, just this insane soup. I think it was a potato, like a potato soup, but I've never had anything like that soup. It's like having the most insane what's that uh lobster bisque. It's like equivalent to that kind of like just perfect flavor soup. But anyways, I mean that's one of the many things she had. That was her concept, or or whatever. She started the Dixie Stampede, or she owned it. I don't know if she started those or just ended up buying them, but it was a big part of her in a couple locations there. And then never been, but there's you got the Dollywood place here, and I mean, but
Here, meaning in Nashville.
in
but
Nashville.
Not in Nashville.
Oh yeah, it's not Nashville. It's way east of here.
Hours away.
It's like it's Tennessee's version of Branson, really. Uh, I've watched some videos and stuff, but yes, I'm so wrong about that. Yeah, hours away. But she did live here in Nashville. But and then here he's the most recent thing she got into. She um was gonna try and take a little chunk out of the beloved Bucky's, and didn't want to get beat by a beaver. She literally said when they opened it, "I'm not gonna let a little beaver beat me," is what she said. And they opened that first location here in Tennessee somewhere, basically something rival to Bucky's, which will be interesting to see if that continues to go. And but seems like her family was a big part of her. She involved her family quite a bit in what she did, and everything was her nephew that was in charge of her security, and took the security over from his father. So which would have been her brother. He was the one that spoke for the family and shared just all the love and that she's with Jesus now, probably singing 9 to 5, and Jesus is like, you don't have to work 9 to 5. Yes, no. But that's the first song that jumps in my head. Do you know any of her off the top of your head? Do you know any of her songs? We're not big country people, but I mean, she's pretty iconic, and I feel like I knew a decent amount of her songs. She's got a nice top 10.
Yeah, why don't you name them?
Yeah, I was pull it up again. I looked at it just a little bit early. Are we looking good on sound?
No, we are not. I am struggling. I'm trying to get us on Instagram, buddy.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, she lived to be 80. Jolene, that's a classic. I think that has a really interesting story too. You know that story a little bit, right?
You're in the middle.
You know? I guess I don't know it very well, but I think it's about somebody that was after her
Jolene,
ex or something.
Jolene.
Yeah, Jolene. Somebody
Don't
was
take
trying
my
to.
man. Yeah, don't.
Yeah, talking about taking the man and all that. I will always love you. Here, this is a bad list because it had the year and everything. But I mean, she hit stardom like in the 70s, had a number of hits in the 70s, and still even her last big hit, I guess, looking at was like she still had one back in 2001.
What was that?
What was that? See, I gotta find the better list because I had a Parton popular songs.
Well, I'm
here.
gonna try one more time.
Okay, so yeah, this isn't. I don't know if it's the best of songs. Oh, and the stories behind them too. Okay, you got in 71. You had Coat of Many Colors.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with that one, but yeah, that was a big hit. She always had that big hair. Jolene was 74. That was very much a classic. Jolene described an alluring woman who is trying to steal the singer's husband.
Woo! The fourth time we're now live on Instagram.
Instagram,
oh
welcome.
My gosh, four
welcome
times we're finally on Instagram.
Appreciate you doing that. Tim's if you guys didn't know, Tim has a night job where he's protecting America from cyber crime. He's a vigilante. Number 3, 1974, I Will Always Love You.
Okay. All my tasks are finished now.
Number 4, Love Is Like a Butterfly, and that was in 1974. She did have just the Barbie thing look. She had the Barbie kind of look to her. Number 5, 1977, Here You Come Again.
Oh, Maria, good to see you on here. Maria Lisa Matos. I see you, Maria, on my social media so many times. You've got to be one of the most frequent commenters, and for that, I thank you so much. Been around a long time.
Thank you. Feel free to share the podcast on your Facebook.
So yeah, thank you so much, Maria.
Maybe
shout out. I will put Maria's. See, how do I share that on the screen? No, it's not letting me do that. Not allowing me to share that on the screen. Okay.
And of course, the song that pops in my head always.
Oh, Linda says she loves them all.
She's a big fan. So
big fan,
sad. Yeah. So she's probably this.
Linda,
probably
name name the ones that come to mind, Linda. What are the Dolly songs that first come to mind? And I will.
Would you want to call in? That would be cool.
We need to get to that point where
we could. We just put on speaker. That would be fun to have. I wonder if we have the ability to do that with what we have right now.
We need to research that.
Because it would be we'd want to run it through the computer or whatever. There's got to be a good way to do that.
There's got to be. There's got to be. We'll look into that.
1980 was probably one of the biggest hits. Definitely that I'm familiar with. 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. What a catchy song. I don't care if you like country or not. Like that's just.
I will. Okay, Linda responded. I will always love you. And Jolene is the two.
I will always love you. Did she know anything about I Will Always Love You?
Well, I'm going to guess that not. I mean,
that was 74.
She was a writer for other people. I know that.
Yes,
she didn't make every song a hit with her singing them. She also wrote for other folks. I know
it was thousands of songs that she had written. Yeah, I pulled up that list too, and there was a few. Thank you.
I wrote in this song.
I have Tim's grammar. Everybody knows I am enrolled in Tim University. I was one of the things we were talking about episode 100 or 99. I went in and started talking about how I'm a graduate of Tim University. I don't know how that started, but it was
you're
hilarious.
not graduated yet.
Not graduated yet. Far from over.
You're still taking remedial courses.
I'm still a freshman. I'm still taking those classes to get me into the regular classes because
I mean, talking about that. Okay, so I went to college a long time ago, 80s, and I got an engineering degree. And back then, talking about math, this has to do with math. So what made me think of this is I was at a restaurant, and the server is kind of a non-traditional student. She's in her late 20s, but she's going back to college. And she was telling me about school just started up, or is starting up this coming week. That was last week, so it's starting up this week. And she was saying about one of the classes she has to take is algebra. And my mind was not computing that because algebra was a high school course and I went to a tiny little school in South Dakota, tiny. And we had not that many, there was no advanced placement or anything. You're just lucky if you had anybody to teach the class. And when I got to college, we took all the algebra, and we had 2 weeks where our teacher tried to talk to about calculus. And I went to college, and I'm competing with people from the bigger schools that had a whole year of calculus, and I could barely spell it. And so we had, for my engineering degree, we had to three semesters of calculus and then differential equations. And now the way everything's accelerated, I just assumed, wrongly obviously, that calculus now was all covered in high school. And I had a conversation with Gemini, my good buddy Gemini now, the AI, which is, I'm becoming addicted to it. I just have this conversation. And Gemini was saying, no, it's pretty standard. Even today, so many years later, engineering students will start with 3 semesters of calculus and one then differential equations for the 4th semester. And algebra is not uncommon for a non-STEM, STEM meaning science, technology, engineering, math, a non-technological degree. She's going into music management, music business, music industry. So, but I was like, a college student taking algebra, that blows my mind. Anyway, just an aside, we were talking about math. We were talking about grammar. We weren't talking about math, but I'm talking about remedial courses.
Working 9 to 5. What a
There's
way
math
to
in
make
that, 9 to 5.
Yeah, but 9 to 5. You work 9 to 5. I guess you're not getting a lunch.
Linda said 9 to 5 also is one of her favorite songs.
Yeah, that's very much a classic. 1980, and then that was the 6th one. One that I'm not really familiar with, Tennessee Homesick Blues, 1982. The title song from the film Rhinestone, in which Dolly starred alongside Sylvester Stallone. Ooh, that makes me want to go. Yeah, I've never seen a Dolly Parton movie. I think maybe maybe I've seen a cameo one time. I felt like she was in what's the classic? I can't think of it, but yeah, she's been in a number of movies, and I mean some decent hit back in the day. I think it was probably mostly movies in the 80s, 70s, 80s. But yeah, she starred alongside Sylvester Stallone. I didn't know that. The song was called Tennessee Homesick Blues.
Okay, here's a list of songs. Okay, I knew the big one here. That I knew the one I was trying to come up with. Oh, you do your spiel, and then I will make my spiel.
I'm at number 8 now. Island of the Streams, 1983. And then 9 is why'd you come in here? That was 1989. So in the 80s. And then she jumped to number 10 is Little Sparrow, 2001.
Okay, now I think that list is Dolly Parton singing songs that she sang.
Yes.
Here's a list. This song is 10 songs you didn't know Dolly Parton wrote. And you're going to be blown away as the numbers as I count down. And I knew there was one humongous that I couldn't think of it. And now this list helps me. Put It Off Until Tomorrow by Bill Phillips. I don't know, say that I know that one. Fuel to the Flame by Skeeter Davis. 1967 song. Kentucky Gambler by Merle Haggard. I can't say I know.
You came up with such a better list. I Googled, searched the same thing, and had not a good list.
Okay, so once you get through the remedial courses, there will be a Google course for you. How to Google properly.
How to not cross this line. You will not cross this line.
There'll always be music by Tina Turner. I'm in No Condition by Hank Williams Jr. Sounds familiar. Circle of Love by Jennifer Nettles. And then The Stranger by Kenny Rogers. I got a feel that was a big one. Waltz Me to Heaven by Waylon Jennings. To Daddy by Emmylou Harris. Then here's the biggest one of all. I'm just reading the book. I talked about it last week.
Drum roll.
And it's a book I'm reading. I'm finishing up. It's called Hitmen. And it's about the record industry from the start of record industry, which is like the 40s and 50s when the records first started becoming a thing, where the consumer could buy them, and all the way up to 1991 was when the book came out. And there was a lot of crooked, questionable behavior going on. And probably the boom years for the recording industry was the 80s. We talked about that. And Clive Davis, of course, who passed away earlier this year, one of the biggest executives, A&R men in the history of A&R men. And his biggest signing was a woman named Whitney Houston. And Whitney Houston's probably biggest hit was written by Dolly Parton. It's called I Will Always Love You.
Well, how's the melody go for that?
Hold on a second.
It's not the one, it's not that one, is it? It probably is that one. Oh, yes, I do. Will always, yes, Dolly, yes. I think you got it. Got it.
I don't know if you can hear that.
Huh? Oh,
well, this is from The Bodyguard, the movie. You know this song.
Mm-hmm. It's a fitting song.
Whitney Houston wrote it. Whitney Houston, no. Dolly Parton wrote it. So, no, you probably wouldn't have, come up with that one on the list. I knew there was a huge one. That was a huge one. That was, I don't know if that was Whitney Houston's biggest, but it was one of her top two, I would say. And she was one of the biggest artists of the 80s. Michael Jackson, of course. And the 80s were a big, probably the peak of the recorded record industry, because we had Thriller from Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston came on board, and just so many big acts. And then the 90s came on, and we started getting pirating, and the record industry kind of fell. The sales of the record industry almost collapsed. Almost everyone went bankrupt because nobody's buying records because of Netscape. What was it called?
Napster.
Napster. Yeah, everything was being stolen, and the actual sales of recorded music dropped to precipitous levels, maybe 1/3 of previously, and they've been trying to build it back ever since. And then there was the iPod, and then streaming came along, but it's never been as huge as it was in the 80s. And that period was a big time. And this book is fascinating. It's called Hitmen, and it has two meanings: men who make hits, because there was no women executives, make hit records, but also the Mafia connection. There was a big Mafia connection. So we talked about that last podcast, I think. And they talk about this song. They talk about, in that book, they talk about Clive Davis and how he discovered Whitney Houston, and he signed her, and et cetera, et cetera.
Where did he discover her?
Well, okay. He was told about, she was singing in a bar She had a residency in a bar, I think it was in New York. And one of the guys who reported to Clive told him about her. And he went to hear her and was just enthralled by her. She was like 18, 19 years old, undiscovered talent, and pursued her and basically shaped her. Chose the songs, really became Machiavellian, deciding what she was going to do, what her image was, what her direction was. Some would say overbearing, but he created a monster. I mean, he created an incredibly successful artist. So you can't say that his choices were wrong. But he took over and became her manager and everything, and just controlled her career, made all her choices. And you can't say that Clive Davis made bad choices. I mean, now I'm trying to think of his name. The guy who sang I write the songs. I write the songs. Barry Manilow. Barry Manilow, he had like a low point, and Clive Davis said, "Come sing this song. It's called Brandy, but we're going to change the name to Mandy." And everybody who knows Barry Manilow knows that was a humongous hit for Barry Manilow. And then there was a song written by Beach Boy. One of the Beach Boys wrote it. Not Brian Wilson, not Kevin, not Mike Love, one of the other ones. I've forgotten his name. And he wrote this song called I Write the Songs. And Clive Davis says, Barry Manilow, you need to cut this song. And Barry Manilow said, but I'm a songwriter, and I didn't write this song. So it's kind of pretentious for me to sing a song that I didn't even write, that is I Write the Songs. And Clive Davis was very domineering, and he said, you need to write this song. And he did. And of course, it became one of Barry Manilow's biggest hits, if not his biggest hit. So Clive Davis was an amazing A&R guy. I just passed a couple months ago, or a month or so ago, in his late 80s. He had his finger on so many.
I missed that. I was wondering it. I was like, has he passed away?
Within the last month or two.
Wow.
Time goes on.
Oh my gosh. So
many
time
goes on.
Passed away
so many,
year.
yeah. But Clive Davis, yeah, huge. And so the book, Hitmen, if you're interested in the history. And then there's the next book I'm going to read, which supposedly I think takes off after Hitmen. It's called Appetite for Destruction. And I haven't started reading it yet, but I think it's continuing the story, because the record industry almost completely imploded in the aughts because they made so many stupid decisions. And interesting, so I'm now in the book. I was reading it. I went to the coffee shop and read for about an hour. And I'm at the point where the biggest record label in the world at the time was CBS Records, and which was purchased by Sony. It's now Sony. Sony bought them in the late 80s. And you know why Sony? Can you guess why Sony would buy a record company? What's your best guess there, Seth? Hey, Mike, good to see you on here. Mike Lay. What can you come up with any reason why a Sony would buy?
Would it have music for their movies, or
no? They didn't have movies at the time. They made stereo equipment,
right,
things like that.
Okay,
so they came up with a product called Betamax. You know what Betamax? You know what that is?
I remember that. I can't remember what that is.
I
remember the name.
It's a videotape, like a VHS.
Okay.
VHS and Betamax came out about the same time. Betamax was superior technologically, vastly superior. And
I vaguely remember this, but there's an interesting. No, continue.
Yeah. And so Sony is making Betamax, and Philips, which is a Dutch company, had VHS, and they're both competing. And one of them was going to win out, right? One of them was going to become the de facto standard. Well, what happened? No, they didn't have access to any movies, no software, quote unquote. So there were almost no movies available on Betamax. But there's probably a story there, probably a book that could be read about that. But even though VHS was inferior technology, there were more movies available, and so they won out, and Betamax got dropped because there's only so much space in the stores. So in 1987, Sony doesn't want to repeat the problem. They have a new technology called DAT, D-A-T, digital. It's a tape. So you're recording on a tape, like a cassette, audio, but it's digital. It's not analog. It's digital. It's converted to digital audio tape, I think it's called. And it was the new technology, and they wanted to make it succeed, and they said we need to have the software. So they came after buying CBS, and they paid a hefty price for it at the time, substantially more than the over 16x earnings, 5-year earnings, which was a premium. They paid $1.25 billion at the time. They wanted it so badly. This is in 1987, $1.25 billion.
Goodness.
And they bought it. And DAT tapes obviously didn't succeed anyway. The default became CDs, compact disc. So that venture didn't work for them anyway. So
that was the first digital music. That was the first digital thing. And then CD would have been after that.
Well, DAT and CD were coming along at the same time.
Okay.
Philips had CDs as well. So they won two for two, I guess. Philips had the only CD manufacturing plant in the world at the time.
Did DAT look like a CD also? Or
I don't know. It was a tape deck. I can't be 100% sure what it looked like. We should look it up. Hey, Mike, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Then the 8-track. I remember Grandpa had an 8-track tape.
Sorry, I didn't answer you, Mike. He said, have you been new songs yet? Have you? I'm not sure what that means. Have you been new songs yet? Go ahead. What was?
Well, you go ahead and answer that. And
No, it's just, he said, have you been new songs? I think he means, have you released new songs? Have you
maybe writing new songs?
We were talking about. Have you been? I'm not sure what he meant by that.
I'm probably asking if you have written any new songs. I'm not sure.
I'm always writing new songs. Always.
Yeah, we were joking about what the new next name of the episode before last. We were joking about what the name of the next album would be called.
Yeah.
Wanted in South Dakota was just good. I think I ended up calling
completed trilogy of South Dakota. First one was Born in South Dakota. The one I just released, Raised in South Dakota.
Oh my gosh, we laughed so hard because then you made reference to Star Wars and looked over at me, and we started laughing so hard.
Because, Son of South Dakota. I mean, there's what Wanted in South Dakota.
That would make a cool song. Son of South Dakota. I'm a son of South Dakota.
Yeah, it could. All righty. So I'm talking about books that I'm reading. What books are you reading, Seth? Share with us the books you're reading.
Well, when you mentioned that, I was like, well, there's no need to rub it in that you're so good at reading. You think, I wonder if there's a book about this. I say, I wonder if there's a YouTube video about this. But before we get carried on too far, 8-track. What was the downfall of 8-track?
Well, good question.
It had to be more expensive, right? They looked heavy duty.
Had a limited run.
It did, right?
Cassette tapes kind of took over.
Grandpa and Grandma jumped in on it.
Did they have 8-track?
Yeah, I remember they had 8-track there back in the day. The nice big stereo with 8-track.
Okay, 8-track tapes failed because they lacked basic user controls like rewind, suffered from poor mechanical reliability, and often quote-unquote 8 tapes and interrupted songs mid-play to switch tracks. They're quickly replaced by the superior and more compact cassette tape format. No rewind feature. Tapes ran on a continuous loop on a single spool, meaning users could not easily go back to a specific song.
Oh, okay.
Mid-song interruptions. Albums were split into 4 equal programs, so songs often faded out and clicked into new track right in the middle of the music. Fragile parts, mechanical parts, the internal foam pressure and pads frequently rotted away, and the tape jam stretched or got chewed up inside car stereos. Competition from cassettes. Philips. Wow, Philips was dominating here. Philips won the CD thing, and I believe on the VHS, Philips dominated. Philips compact cassette format allowed for easy recording at home, precise fast forward, and rewind functions in a much smaller pocket-friendly size. And then the Sony Walkman came along, which was a portable, but that was Sony. Portable cassette players in 79 made bulky 8-track cartridges completely obsolete for people on the go. By the early 80s, major retail stores stopped stocking 8-tracks, and car manufacturers stopped offering them as built-in dashboard players. So that's why the 8-track failed. It was, I mean, you can't, getting phased out in the middle of a song, that would be weird. Cassette tapes, the runtime, you could put a lot of music on a cassette tape, and you could get 120-minute cassettes that put 60 on a side. You could put 3 albums on a cassette. They made 120. They made different sizes.
You gotta love the Walkman too. The Walkman was so...
Yeah. You know, I remember 120, 90, 60, 90, and 120. You could buy different sizes of cassette tapes. And 120 on one cassette tape, that's a lot of music. A lot of albums are only 40 to 45 minutes. So you could do almost 3 albums, 2.5 albums per cassette.
I was thinking that they'd be worth a little bit more than this, but 8-tracks are worth only $2 to $15, unless they're rare, of course. Sealed. That would be the one way. Very uncommon, probably to see a sealed.
Graded.
Oh, graded. There we go. Yeah, I'm into the graded stuff. And then late era releases. The late era would be older, right? That would be
late era.
That would be sooner, right?
It would be closer to our time. Late would be
okay. Oh,
late 1990s, early 1990s,
okay.
Late 80s, early 80s. I'm guessing that means closer to our time. Late era would be when they were phasing them out. I'm going to guess. Now, here's the thing. What was the speed of a play? What was the speed? I believe. Okay. Okay, listen to this. Technically speaking, from a video or from a audio file standpoint, 8-tracks were superior. Wow. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, the playback speed was twice as fast of a cassette. And the faster you're going, a small change will be heard easier. It's called wow and flutter. Back in the day when it was all analog, you would look at the wow and flutter. The wow is going up, or no, which would be which? Wow would be going down. If it's slowed down, the pitch would go down. Flutter would go up. So the variation, the wow and flutter, was a technical spec on stereo equipment, playback equipment. And so the faster it's going, the wow and flutter is going to be less apparent. But if it's going very slow, a small change will make a big difference. Does that make sense to you?
No, not exactly. Bring me
the faster the tape speed,
okay,
the more accurate it's going to sound.
Okay.
The slower the tape speed.
Oh, because then you'll start to hear
the wow.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay.
So, by technical definition, the faster the playback speed is, the more precise the playback will be.
Okay, that makes sense now. Yeah.
And so the 8-track was twice as fast of the cassette, so it had an advantage in that regard. It was superior. And the other aspect was the tape was how wide was the tape?
It's so interesting just looking at a picture of them, because I remember the only member I really have of them is at Grandpa and Grandma's. And I never really messed with them or anything, but it's so they kind of look like a cartridge for like a Nintendo or something. You got the complete artwork on the front of the cartridge and everything, and you have no idea what it looks like on the inside. It's like completely. Yes, see the little pictures there.
Yeah, I know. I would know what they look like. I know. Yeah. So an 8-track tape. Okay, this is not. All right, this is not true. Okay, there's no advantage on the tape width. So the wider the tape, the more room you have on the magnetic tape to put the information on. So I remember a buddy of mine had a reel-to-reel, and he was recording on that reel-to-reel, and that was like 1.5 inch reel-to-reel, or it was 1.5 inches. It was wide, and so you have more space to put information on, and the more space you have, the more precise that will be for playback. So a wider tape is going to be more precise. And so I'm just looking at. I thought the 8-track is wider. The 8-track is 0.25 inch wide, and a cassette tape is 0.15 inches wide. But a cassette tape has 4 tracks, 2 stereo tracks, one going one direction and one going the other. So you got to divide that 0.15 by 4, whereas an 8-track has 8 going. And so you got to divide that 0.25 by 8. And so the difference between them for each track, it's 0.021 for an 8-track and 0.024 inches for a stereo cassette. So the tape width, there was no advantage, but the speed is twice as fast. So it should have been more hi-fi.
It's very interesting. Looking at the inside of it, comparing it to a cassette tape. Just one big spool.
One big continuous tape is what it was. And it would break down a lot. Whereas a cassette tape, you reach the end, and it would your cassette player would recognize that it came to a resistance and stop and eject it. And then you would have to either rewind it or flip it over, because then it would run the opposite direction until it got to the end. So there'd be four tracks on the cassette, 2 going one way and 2 going the other way. The 2 are the stereo track, left and right.
Kids these days have no idea. It's so crazy to think about. Just how technology, like, you don't have to worry about the scratching and all that.
Yeah,
like you just push play, you know. There's the worst you got to worry about is some buffering. That's
But there are people that say that analog is a superior listening experience because it's analog. And the case is, when CDs first came out, I would say there definitely was a case, because even though the highs and the lows were higher, and when you play a vinyl record or a cassette tape, it degrades from the first day. It starts degrading over time.
Now, isn't the biggest loss though when you going digital, the original going to the digital? I mean, we talked about this. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but then once you go to a digital and you're compacting the song, you're losing a lot of the quality of the sound, right?
No, you're confusing two things.
Okay.
That's if you're talking about an MP3.
MP3, okay, just MP3.
Yeah, or there's other files that are compressed.
Okay.
I think a AAC is a compressed file.
So the normal music that you would be listening to, it wouldn't be compressed like that.
It depends. What are you listening on?
Okay. But originally when we were, I mean, a lot of stuff was like that MP3 though, right? Like, I mean, you could easily run into that issue quite a bit compared to nowadays, probably. Yeah,
Spotify is MP3, is compressed files. That's why Tidal exists. Tidal is an alternative platform that, and those of you who are audophiles know this better than me, but I believe this is the case. The Tidal is all uncompressed files, so the listening experience is higher.
Okay, yeah, that's what.
So
okay,
I mean,
wow.
as someone who produces my own music and is always dealing with folder or with files, a typical song. It's a stereo song that's 3.5 to 4 minutes long. If it's an uncompressed WAV file, or another file type is FLAC, FLAC. Some say FLAC is superior. WAV.WAV.WAV is that's what most music production companies use, export WAV files. That's what I work with in my DAW. If you have a 3.5 minute song that is a WAV file, that is typically about 50 megabyte. and you export. So when I mix a song and master a song on my DAW is digital audio workstation. I use Logic Pro. There's Pro Tools. There's others. When you export it often in a compressed format, which is usually MP3, but there are others. I think AAC is compressed as well, or you can export it as uncompressed, which is WAV or FLAC, whichever you prefer. And when you compress, or when you export the compressed and the uncompressed, the size of the files, the uncompressed WAV file will be about 50 megabyte. It depends. It varies. 48.5. It varies depending on the length of the song and how much information in the song. But that same song, the same files exported as an MP3 will only be about 5 to 7 megabyte.
Very interesting.
So the amount of data you're losing.
Yeah.
What's the difference between, let's say, 5, well, let's round it down to 5, but it's usually not that small. So 7.5. You're losing 42 megabytes. So 42, that's 85%. You're losing 85% of the data.
So to the ear, how much of quality are you losing?
Well, it also depends on your speakers. You have to have high quality speakers. If you're listening in earbuds, you're probably not going to notice. If you're listening on your phone speaker, you're probably not going to notice. If you're listening on a car speaker, a lot of car speakers are pretty dang good quality. You'll notice. You can tell the difference.
Wow.
If you A/B.
So interesting. So interesting.
But you got vinyl enthusiasts that swear up and down that vinyl is superior. As far as a response, if you mix it right, you could have the same sounding. If you mixed it the same, here's the thing about vinyl. When a vinyl goes in circles, right? It's rotating. And when you put it on the outside, you've got the most distance, right? Think about if you're running, okay, let's have a center point and let's draw circles from that center point. Let's draw a 10-foot diameter circle. Let's draw a 20-foot diameter circle. And let's draw a 30-foot diameter circle, okay? Take a string and put a stake in the ground in the middle. One 10-foot diameter, one 20-foot, and one 30-foot. Okay. Now let's have a race. And I'm going to pick the 10-foot one. You can pick whichever one you want. The first person to make it around wins.
You would win, of course.
Of course. That's the point. Why would I win?
It's the shortest distance.
Yes. Okay, so using that's exactly right. So think about a vinyl record. The RPM is the same, right? It's spinning at the same speed, 33 1/3 revolutions per minute. That's what a long play record runs at. Now you can get a 45, which is a short play or extended play, which are usually singles, but a long play record, LP stands for long play, is 33 1/3. At that speed, that first song has the most distance, right?
Right.
And so it has the most space to put the information.
Ah.
That inside track has probably got 1/3. Well, I don't. You'd have to do the math. 1/3 the distance. You got to put.
For sure.
You got to put the same amount of information. And you only have 1/3 the distance. You have to compress that information. That's why they always put softer songs on the inside. They put the ballad on the inside. The punching one that makes you dance is on the outside. And as you go in further, you get less information because there's less square footage.
Wow.
So these are limitations.
Yeah.
And the first time you play that vinyl is the best it's ever going to sound. Because what's happening? That needle is scraping on that groove. You play that vinyl 1,000 times, it's going to be degraded. Microscopically, possibly, but it's never going to sound as good as it does the first time. And another variable, they make a press to press the vinyl, and they use that press to press, I don't know how many, 500 vinyls, and then they switch to another one. Why do they switch to another one? Because that press starts to wear out. So if you get a fresh press, it's the first one. So they cut the grooves into a metal press, right? And then they They press it. Hot vinyl, right? Melted vinyl, they press it, right? But they don't use the same press. It only goes so many times, and then they switch over to another one. Well, if you get the first press when it's all brand new and all the edges are sharp, you get a really sharp one. But if you get the last one before they switch out to the new one, you got a little bit of degradation there. Compare that to a CD. All the CDs are the same, and then unless you scratch them, there's no degradation. It stays the same. The information stays the same. Vinyl lovers won't like this bit.
Yeah, but that's all the information that vinyl lovers will leave out. You're coming for you, Tim. You're on hit list.
Hey, I love vinyl. I got vinyl for sale. I got 3 vinyl records. Buy my vinyl records. I got a double vinyl. I love vinyl. There's something about it. It's the motion of holding it and pulling it out and putting it on a turntable. I mean, you can't replace that.
And when you're not listening to it, you can hang it on your wall because it looks like a piece of artwork.
Absolutely. 50% of the vinyl sales never get taken out of the shrink wrap.
Do you have one of them handy? You should show that color again.
Carry on.
So what's the quickest way to get to your... Is it...
You can go to
the Tim Wolf. The TimWolf.com. Here I am. I'm supporting. I got a Tim Wolf mug here from Survive. But yeah, amazing artist.
Oh
man, I'm gonna be nervous next time you ask me for pictures. Knowing like this could end up on the record. Oh my gosh! And then there's a few different.
This is disc 2.
So cool.
All of them are splattered like this.
Is there multiple colors though, or there's
just all the 2? Colors?
I know. Well, yeah, that one. But then the other one is even
a different color.
Different though. Yeah, it looks so cool. Yeah, I've never seen. You don't usually see records like that. Was that an extra cost?
Yes.
Getting like that?
Yes. Extra cost.
So please, everyone, the Tim Wolf, get Tim's music.
This one's my favorite.
Yeah, this one. Oh yeah, the very.
I don't have my white gloves on, so I don't want to grab it.
No, you're good there. You can see it. That's cool.
See it.
No, it's great. I love it.
So yeah, thetimwolf.com. You can find the link to get to my store for sale.
Yes, sir.
Over an hour worth of music. And this album charted on the Billboard charts. So there you go.
Born in South Dakota, raised in South Dakota, and just around the corner, he's going to be wanted in South Dakota. Taking you to the jail and get some pictures. Like, officer, we're going to need some. You get him over your time. Yeah. I did you remember the thing called planking? It's so silly. You just stood like a board on different objects. Way back in the day, cop car was sitting in front of a movie theater. He was not around, and I literally planked on top of the cop car. Yeah, that could have got me arrested, probably. I don't know. There's probably not against the law to touch a cop car. Probably not a good idea to plank. He's going to find some reason to arrest you. Tim, what you gonna say? Go ahead. You had something.
Nothing.
Oh no, there's a big smile there. Nothing. Arrest me, but make it.
But make it sexy. That's a line. Yeah, that's a line. That's somebody from a song. Arrest me, but make it sexy. That's a song. That's
I love it. I love it. I know. I at some point I'm gonna have a cop around me when I'm in a car, and I'm gonna play that. I've saw a couple of clips where people have played that for cops. It's so funny. The scene is it's called Rookie. I think it's still going. There's like quite a few seasons.
Oh, I've been watching it's a band, a garage band. Playing in there, and there's a car in front, and then they come striding over and they close the garage door, and then they open up the garage door.
And then there's another scene. I don't think it's even the same episode. There's a call in that area, and they open the garage and start playing the song. And the choir comes out and starts singing along. And one cop's really into it. The other one's just annoyed. Arrest me, but maybe sex. Is that a baton in
PG.
is is that a two-way radio?
PG.
What he puts the it's so funny. It's so very clever. Very clever. And I think it's like a real band too. So I'm curious if they wrote it themselves.
Yeah, I did look it up. I did look at it as a real band. There are bands out there that make a living just making comedy. Like the band that's in the whatever the commercial, whatever the radio, whatever the insurance company is that has the stupid ostrich or whatever it is, the emu, whatever insurance company that is. That's bad advertising when you remember the commercial, but you don't remember what company it's associated with. And I don't remember which company it is. You know, the one with the emu or the ostrich or whatever it is?
Yeah.
They had, wasn't it? Or maybe, I don't even remember.
There's a couple different ones, and we were wondering if it was the same band.
But it was a band that was just doing comedy stuff. They were hilarious. Was it insurance? Or it could have been anything.
There's a couple commercials where there's a band.
Is it the insurance? Is it insurance?
I think one's insurance and then one's something else. And I was wondering if it was the same. The insurance, and I think there's a couple of them though. And then we were curious if it was the same band. I haven't seen it in a while, so I was kind of escaped my
Gecko.
mind.
Oh no, that's not. Geico, not Gecko.
He's a Geico gecko. Of course, probably the most expensive insurance out there. The more advertising you see, oh my gosh, I've tried to. Farmers never get farmers. Farmers are so expensive. They're probably like triple the price. It's like when they got to do a lot of advertising. The best deal, one of the best deals I ever saw was a company that didn't advertise. In fact, what they did was after 3 years, they would give you back 25% of what you paid in the first year, and then every year after that. So they wanted you for now I don't know if this always happened, but there was like some bad insurance thing. But it seemed like my after that I forgot that first check, my insurance seemed to go up a decent amount, so it didn't make it worthwhile. But I mean, getting a check for 25% of everything you pay in, as long as your insurance isn't going up, but it could easily pop up too much. But that's one thing that's. So annoying. In fact, a buddy that I've done some business with, I literally I will give you $250 if you find an insurance company for me, because I was having trouble. My homeowners insurance was going up, and I needed a good homeowners insurance, and it was well worthwhile. He did the searching for me, and he's just good at stuff like that too, and saved me at least $500 a year, if not more. I think it was, and found some good insurance. But that insurance company was called Nationals or something, and it was interesting because they had been around for 100 years, and they what's the duo, the bank robbers, the couple,
Bonnie and
Clyde. They had an insurance plan, the two of them. And with National, and it paid out to one of their. They have he had the picture of it on the wall there at the headquarters. They paid out a life insurance policy on the two of them because they had insurance. It's like, well, I was like, that's one way to get your family paid. I think it only paid out, but this is like 50, 60 years ago. And I think it paid out like $500 or something like that, or I don't know, maybe 1,000.
Bonnie and Clyde's famous families received life insurance payouts after the Outlaws died in 1934, which forced the insurance industry to change its rules.
I was wondering.
After Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow were killed in a police ambush, May 23rd, 34, their mothers filed claims with the American National Insurance Company based in Galveston, Texas. Because their active industrial or debit life insurance policies did not contain clauses excluding deaths caused by criminal acts, the company paid the claims in full.
Yeah, very smart change, because think about that. How sadly, with all the suicides, that so sad. I mean, just think of that. Well, what's a good way to get my family? I'll just go out and shoot out with cops.
Well, it depends. Some life insurance excludes suicide, some don't.
Oh, there are some that include it. Wow. Oh. I feel like we should throw up the suicide hotline now. It's something very dealt with, and if you're dealing with suicide, please get help.
Yeah, well, what is the number? Can you look up the number? We should put that on there. Yeah, they're usually excluded. I just Googled it. Help is available.
Looks like you can just
998.
Yeah, that was like
just 988. Nothing else. 988 is all you need to dial. So if anyone is, thinking about that, please reach out for help, please.
And making it extra simple, those that even just want to chat, you can text 988. You can call or text. Some people would a good amount of people, especially younger kids, would probably feel more comfortable even texting.
And you can do that at 988.
Yep,
good.
And
Good,
just text 988. Yeah, I had there's always a reason. There's plenty of reasons to stick around. You might think it's the quick way out, but when it does when suicide does happen, you quickly can see the amount of people that affects.
And we want you here.
Yeah,
we want you here. You have a purpose. So
yes, sirree.
All right, tell a joke.
Did chicken cross the road? Wait. Why did chicken cross the road?
Can we? Where's Walter? Let's get Walter.
Walter.
Where's Walter's glasses? Where is he? Let's get Walter. Okay.
Did you think you were gonna get Walter? Good luck. Speaking of, Tim, you know what I'm gonna ask? I need my cigarettes.
I haven't been in Kentucky in a while. Sorry.
You were there on the 24th.
I was there, Debra. I'm sorry.
You were there on the 24th. Seth told me we share a lot of information. Quite. He talks to me way too much. It's a little weird. I don't like that boy, Seth.
Your voice has gotten a lot better, Debra.
Yeah, because I haven't been able to smoke. I need that thick, smoky cigarettes are getting expensive, Tim. That's why I need to go to the Kentucky.
I was at Walgreens, and the guy was checking out in front of me, and he got 10 packs of cigs in Nashville.
And you couldn't bum me one?
I was like, wow, that bill was well over $100, I think.
And you let him know that it's a conspiracy. He's not going to die from it. He'll be fine.
A pack of cigs cost in Tennessee?
Oh, Tim, they're called ciggies. That's cute. They're called ciggies. Get your ciggies. Yeah, good for health. You kids out there, the kids don't listen to me.
Don't listen to Debra.
Cigarettes. It's a conspiracy. Cigarettes don't kill you. It's a conspiracy.
Oh. Tennessee's average price is $9.21 per pack, which is lower than the national average. And then the state excise pack is $62.
Dear Lord, I'm going to start doing cocaine. No, it's a little more expensive. I'll stick to the cigs.
Okay, cigarette prices by states. U.S. average is $10.15. Could you imagine?
Isn't it crazy that whose thought was it that thought, no, this has no effect on your health. You're literally breathing in smoke. It's like catching your lungs on
Well,
fire.
you know, it's just we don't know about. It's like, okay, I was reading an article recently. You know, cereal is really not very good for breakfast. But all of these manufacturers got together and created this message that eggs were bad for you, and that you have to have cereal.
Wait,
And
there was a whole agenda that to make say eggs were bad for you, or was that the whole egg pyramid thing too, or the pyramid thing that was all jacked up? The cereal is probably a part of the pyramid. Is it part of the base pyramid? But yeah, I know I've definitely heard of how bad. I didn't know about the egg thing though, but I know yes, cereal. I know cereal. In fact, they've come out with some more nutritious cereals or whatever. There's a company that is trying to make more good for you cereal.
CW Post, a former sanitarium patient, guy that was insane, sanitarium, that's for insanity, who created grape nuts in 1897, launching aggressive ad campaigns that turned cereal into a booming industry. John Kellogg opposed adding sugar to cereals, but his brother Will broke away to form what is now Kellogg's, adding sweetness and mass marketing flaked cereals to the general public.
Yeah, look at that tag. They're great.
Breakfast cereal was invented in the late 19th century as a health food to, quote, fix poor digestion and promote moral purity.
Moral purity.
Moral purity. I don't know why. That's what AI overview says. 19th century reformers and doctors wanted to replace heavy meat morning meals with plain high fiber grain. And the Kellogg brothers created cornflakes and added sugar.
I know. I got a big kick out of. I grew up at children's home. My parents were house parents at a children's home, and we went to school with a bunch of rich kids. There was a lot of people had quite a bit of money that went to our school, and it was funny hearing how all these kids every morning they're all having cereal. And here back at Hillcrest at the children's home, we were all going to a big cafeteria and having a nice warm cooked meal. Some of my best memories. In fact, reason I make to this day, a lot of times when I get up, I make a breakfast burrito. Some of the best breakfast burritos we had. We had breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy. Finally got what I need for biscuits and gravy. I got to make biscuits and gravy now. And then just, then had some meals where it was just, toast and bacon and eggs and scrambled eggs and like all really good. The breakfast was one of the best meals there. And then going to this kid with all these rich kids that all they ever got was cereal. And we rarely had cereal. It was like 5 days a week. At least we were having a nice warm breakfast.
Oh, you had a cafeteria. I mean, somebody's got to cook cereal. The kid can get it themselves. Yeah. They can get the bowl. They can get the milk out of the fridge, pour the cereal in the bowl. The parent has to do nothing.
Yeah. It's just a funny thing, all these, here we are at this children's home getting these amazing meals. And then all the rich kids are.
Well, I remember coming visiting you as a growing teenager. This is one of my memories.
Oh, no.
And it was spaghetti night. And the spaghetti would be brought out on the bowls. And we finished our bowl at our table. And my nephew here is running around from other tables, see if he can find bowls left over that aren't consumed.
Yeah,
he can bring back to our table.
Which usually we had plenty of seconds, but they ran out. Usually you could just go up to the front and then you get refills. But I think it was so popular that we were completely out. Yeah, that was spaghetti.
You
that's
found
so funny.
At some other tables.
I probably. Oh, that's funny that I don't really remember that.
Teenage Seth wanted his spaghetti.
Yeah,
spaghetti and
had a lot of good times.
Good times. I remember wrestling one of the boys.
You remember? Oh yeah, no.
You remember that in the living room?
I know that's hilarious, but that's way back.
Way back. It was, and I wasn't prepared. I'd been sitting in an office. I was a desk jockey. And
You probably
I
didn't do
got
too
the best
bad.
of him, but boy,
Yeah.
I remember how exhausted I was because I hadn't been training for that. And he was young. He was a teenager, he was 18, 17. They're just kid strengths.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder who it was. My first thought
You
was
don't
like
remember
Matt
that?
Jennings or something.
Yeah, I remember wrestling in the living room.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic.
And then another thing I remember, your parents had for a weekend, whatever the weekend was, you got 48 hours off, and it started at 9 o'clock,
10 o'clock at night.
10 o'clock at night.
So weird.
So we're off at 10 o'clock at night, and then 48 hours later at 10 o'clock. Those 48 hours went by so fast, and your parents had to be back on at 10 o'clock. I didn't remember it being that late at night.
Yeah, because they were already in bed and everything. Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Those 48 hours went
so
because I mean, you think most people's weekend is more than that. Most people's weekend start 5 o'clock on a Friday and not till 8 on a Saturday. So you get the added Sunday evening. So if you did the same thing, 48 hours, it'd start at 5 o'clock on a Friday, and you'd have to be back to work at 5 o'clock on a Sunday. If you use the typical weekend, that whole Sunday evening is gone. You're working again versus waiting until Monday morning. That's a big difference. It really is. Just 48 hours is 48
they
hours.
Were pretty good. They were pretty good with it too. Sometimes we would go out of town and get a hotel, and always a hotel with a nice pool because Dale and I grew up swimming.
I mean, I really respect. I remember I stayed with you. They were house parents. I don't know if we clarified. House parents in a boys' home, and they had how many boys that there were? 10, 12, 8 in that range that they were responsible for, right? How many?
Yeah, 10 at most, because you'd have to count the two, Dale and I. So because 12, so it'd be 12, so 10 at most. And then when they first were, it was crazy. There was like ages all the way as young as like me, like there was like young as like 11, all the way up to there was somebody like that was like 16 or even 17. We usually you don't have that range of ages. It was it was one of the craziest cottages, and it was rough.
So they had parents, took care of that and did that. For how many years were they house parents?
Like 7.
Yeah,
I got a good experience like that when I worked at a boys' home, because I was working crazy hours. I would put in 56 hours a week. So basically, I just left for the evening, went home, slept, and came back in the morning. So of course they were on call all the way through the night. They'd have to keep an eye. But I mean, I was put it in like 5 days a week, usually 69. But that was amazing.
Anyway, one of my biggest my big takeaway is the 2 takeaways from those eras. 3, I guess. 1, Seth hunting for spaghetti. 2, wrestling the kid, the teenager. And 3, how short that 48 hours was. I was like, man, I couldn't do this job. I remember thinking as I went home, because I was there for the 48 hours, and I'm like, already you got to go back to work. So if you think about it, that Saturday night on a normal or Sunday night on a weekend, I mean, you may not do anything, but it's valuable. You're decompressing. You might just lay around or not do anything, but you don't have to go back to work till, another 12 hours, basically. So more than 12. So from 5 till 8, so you got 7, another 15. You got another 15 hours, generally speaking. Like if you work from 8 in the morning till 5, you get off at 5 on a Friday, and then if you were at the boys' home, you'd have to start at 5 on a Sunday, but you get another 7 to midnight plus another 8. You get another 15 added hours. Instead of 48 hours, you get 63 hours. That's a lot more.
Yeah, it's pretty funny too. I mean, Dale and I grew up with those kids, so that was our friends. That's who we played with and hung out with. So the funny part is, a lot of the weekends, especially if we didn't go anywhere, we wanted to just be on the cottage hanging out with the kids, because that was all our buddies. And my parents were always thankful too. For the most part, didn't have it like all the house. You have a substitute house parents, and they were pretty cool with us. And plus, Dale and I were good kids, so we wouldn't like create any issues or anything. where kids were acted up. But
except
we
for
would literally,
except for all the teen pregnancies.
yeah, there was only 5 of those. No, that
no,
wasn't
seriously.
that.
Good boys. That
That was
boys. Good church boys.
No, it was a good experience. It was a good experience having that, growing up in that, because we were homeschooled kids. That was a culture shock of my life, going to public school and then sharing my parents with 10 other kids. But it was amazing. I mean, had good times. There was there was 700. 700. There's about 70 kids when we first there. So one side of the campus is all girls, and one side's boys. So at lunch we'd be able to, or at breakfast, and then school we'd see a lot of people, and then dinner. We were able to socialize before we sat down at the tables with you sat with your own cottage and all that, but we always socialize, and you had you had a crew that had your back too. When things happened, and so I made a lot of good friends, and still keep in contact with some of them a little bit. But for the most part, for high school, man, I was kind of knew where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to Youth with a Mission, and I had my eyesight quickly. And I, for the most part, as far as high school and high school friends and all that, I really really kind of just quickly lost connection, because I was ready to be done with school and head to YWAM, which was of course amazing. It was like church camp all the time. That was an amazing experience.
Youth with a Mission,
Youth with a
mission,
and then it ended up turning into Ecclesia College. It became a full college while I was there
for ministry, for Christian ministries. Yeah. For those of you that may not know what that is.
Went to China for about a month.
You were in
Turkey. Was crazy. Turkey. Couple years in, I was in Turkey, I think, or was a year in. And yeah, Mexico a number of times. But yeah, amazing experience. So if you know anybody, if checking out YWAM, quite the experience. Big into discipleship training, and you quickly realize how much lack of discipleship you get just going to church. I mean, you can get some good discipleship if having a Sunday school, but most churches don't even have Sunday school classes anymore. That's a big bummer. They just have the regular service, and I mean, or some have small groups. Those are gonna be as good as your leader, though. It depends those situations, but you get that discipleship. But definitely was interesting getting your eyes open, just going through the Bible and reading it as value, because depending on what denomination you grow up in, everything, you realize people had just different thoughts on things. That's not exactly in the Bible there. This is what the Bible says. People can take a little bit of freedom at times, and then this is in the Bible, but we just kind of ignored that. But cool beans. Goodness, I think are we at an hour now?
One moment, I will tell you. It is.
Been a good.
I got a time. It's a
minute,
podcast. An hour and 13. We've gone way past an hour.
We're out of control. Joe Rogan, we're coming for you.
Yes, we are.
A couple more hours, we'll be there.
Just an hour and 47 minutes, and we'll be at 3 hours.
I think I think he might have 1 or 2 podcasts that are an hour and a half, but he rarely has anything shorter than that.
If you want to be, if you need, a little boost,
you need a little boost there, buddy.
We let you phone in. You want to call in? Yeah, come on. Yeah, and Bobby Lee, another one.
Bobby
Lee, you need a boost. You need a boost.
A boost.
It
is crazy, man.
Viewership's down a little bit. Just call in. No sugar, no cream. We'll be happy to help you out.
Definitely helps. Like a lot of these guys already had popularity. Joe Rogan is so big because he was one of the originators of podcasting. And then, but then being a comic that gets you an audience. And I love taking in podcasts, and a lot of these guys are just funny off the cuff. Like Theo Vaughn, we talked about him a couple podcasts ago. Just in conversation could just be goofy as can be and just make you laugh. I love that. And these guys are getting more views than TV shows.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But hey, we'll keep we are definitely not getting the views of TV shows. Maybe some of those cable channels, we might be up there with some of those cable. They're struggling a little bit there. But guys, we love you very much. Thank you for taking the podcast. This is episode 102. Episode 102. Triple digits, baby.
Triple digits.
Baby. We are 3 into the triple digits. Gotta love it. Guys, we will see you next time. We love you very much. Share the podcast, please, on Facebook especially. Check us out on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes. And check us out on Instagram, Tim Wolf. Or is it the Tim Wolf on Instagram too? Or is it
Tim Wolf on Instagram?
The Tim Wolf. And Seth Ohms on Instagram. And guys, we will see you next time. Thanks for watching, or just listen. Maybe you're just listening. That's cool too. Unless you want to see this gorgeous face. We call him Tim Wolf. Give